What's up, y'all, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. Let's address the elephant in the room. What in the world is Worldly Church Girl? Worldly Church Girl Live is just like the podcast. Uncut, raw, unfiltered conversations with kingdom-minded people who are sharing their life stories, how they overcame for God's glory. So sit back and relax and enjoy Worldly Church Girl Live. Hello, everybody, and good Friday, and welcome to Worldly Church Girl Live. It's your girl, your host, Lillian Harshaw. Thank you for joining me for another Good Friday, and I am so glad that y'all are here, and I'm so glad to be here. I feel blessed, and I know that you do too. Hey, Dr. Valerie, how you doing on this evening? Thanks for joining me. You know I love you dearly because you're one of my faves. I want to thank everybody for all the love and support and for just being who you are and being genuinely, authentically you. I want to thank my next guest for being here. Like Dr. Valerie, she's pulling a double shift. She's been on my podcast and she's doing such a wonderful work. And I was like, I just want to have you come on my live show like you were on the podcast. She does work that's worthy of speaking of more than once. She's working with women to empower them to be more self-efficient, to love themselves, and to be leaders, not just within the church, but within the community and within this world. So it gives me such great honor to introduce this lovely woman, Miss Cris Meadows. Hey, Miss Cris, how are you doing on this evening?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thank you again.
Feeling fantastic today. So honored to be here this evening.
No, truly, the honor is all mine. You look gorgeous. I'm digging the shirt you got on.
Oh, thank you. Just a little something. You know, we don't get ready, we stay ready. So
say that. Yeah. Come on now. Because you know I'm all about the black. I don't know what made me throw on white.
It's okay.
Because, you know, I had to put my bonnet over my head so I wouldn't mess it up, you know, the makeup thing and all that. I learned that from an old Janet Jackson video I saw. I was like, that's a good idea to put a bonnet over your head so you won't mess up a white top. I don't know. I never thought about that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm so glad and so honored to have you on today and for you to share all the beautiful things that you're doing within the community and to make it worldwide, because this is something that, as I put in my caption, that women have a bad rep of being nasty towards one another versus helping one another. Mm-hmm. And you are changing that story in a dramatic way. And I thank you for doing that. But I want to back up a little bit to tell the backstory to get to the front story, if you will. Mm-hmm. Growing up, you were always an outspoken child, or were you a shy child?
I was obedient. I was more obedient. I was kind of in the middle of the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, break that down. What do you mean by you were obedient?
I wanted to do everything correct, and I wanted to do what my parents told me to do. Mm-hmm. And then that resulted in wanting people to like me. And so that turned into somewhat of an obsession growing up that everybody should like you. And because you're trying to do good and do the right things. And I kind of learned the hard way that life just wasn't set up that way.
So you was always trying to fit in no matter what the situation is?
You try to fit in, never fit in at all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I knew that was something I didn't understand as a child, but as I became an adult and older and had life experiences, I figured out why I didn't fit in, because I wasn't supposed to.
Ain't that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, were you trying to fit in, like, were you like at home, at church, or at school? Or you, when you say everywhere, you talking about everywhere?
Yeah, that's a heavy load for a little girl to carry. Yeah, everywhere. I was never shy. I loved kind of almost being in front of an audience. I never felt like I was going to. Yeah, some people they get so nervous before they speak and all that. I always got the thrills because I enjoyed being out front. But being out front sometimes can be not so great when you're young because the impression of your peers is that this is what I received was you think you're cute because you can speak or because you're smart or because you have long hair or because whatever. And I took that as so if what's good is wrong, then something is wrong with me because everything that I think is good about me, everybody's saying something is wrong. It never occurred to me, Lillian, that I could have an opinion for myself. It never occurred to me because I was so busy trying to please or fit in, so to speak, that it never occurred to me that it's the story that I'm telling myself that mattered the most about me and not what others said. And so, that was problematic in itself. But in the end, or toward the end, in this venture of my life, it has worked itself out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Terry Reed. She's our local state queen, if you will, in Indiana. And it's funny that you talk about that because that's kind of like my platform thing is just like never fitting in. Just always trying to fit in with the church and then trying to fit in with the world and just you're not supposed to fit in. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be stuck out, if you will, or stick out. Yeah, I know my grammar has never been that A1, but that's neither here nor there as well. Speaking of grammar, you do public speaking.
I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Now, what got you into that? Besides being outspoken?
Well, the church, actually, I'm a PK. So being the pastor's kid or the preacher's kid or the minister's kid, they expected you to be greater than everybody else, know more, do more. But in my case, it wasn't that per se. It was more that one of the mothers of the church saw a gift in me. And she would have me do speeches for the church, and she'd have me do poems, and she'd have me teaching. I was teaching at 12 years old and in the church. And so they saw this little girl who maybe was 4 or 5 years old, but she had a gift to stand before people with boldness and speak truth. And I was singing first before I was speaking. I know most of the greater singers, we hear about them coming out of the church, but we don't hear much about speakers coming out of the church.
Right.
So especially motivational and those kind of speakers coming out of the church. But actually, I was singing first. They used to stand me on a piano and a stool, the piano stool, and then I would sing. And I would forget the words sometimes, and then I'd make up words that made sense at 4 and 5 years old, and nobody knew that the song.
They call it ad-libbing.
Yes, that's what they call it. And I knew how to ad-lib at a very early age. So once I started speaking in the church, it was just like a second nature for me. So I went on just kind of knowing I could do it, but I really didn't do anything with it because I didn't know what to do with it. And I don't think that my parents did either. They just knew that I was gifted in speaking. But they were looking more at me singing and saying, oh, she's going to be another Mahalia Jackson. And that was a heavy load.
Yeah, I heard that. That's a huge compliment. Whoa.
Yes. And so, so it started in the church, to answer the question.
And we talked about this before. That's something that we really don't talk about. We always talk about how singers always say they talk, they started in the church or whatnot, but we never talk about speakers starting in the church. That's something that, because that's where everybody get their first little Easter speech.
Yes.
You walk up there, Jesus rose on Easter Day, and you run off and everybody applaud. but those things, build up that courage or that strength to be able to public speak. Yes. And or it builds up a lot of stage fright, but either way, you're learning to present yourself in front of people. Absolutely. Especially when the church pushes you to do that. So yeah, that's a valid point. So churches need to learn how to cultivate that in people, to teach them to, not only just be great singers, be great speakers.
Yes.
Not necessarily preaching. Not everybody's got to preach.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. When they found out that I could speak, she's going to be an evangelist. And so I was saying, no, I actually wanted to be a missionary. I wanted to travel to foreign countries and feed the children. I remember wanting to do that at 12 years old. Yeah. Yes.
Wow. So did they push you to evangelism?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
Yeah. You was like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
Oh, well, good evening, Mr. Nelson. How are you doing tonight? Yeah, I've heard that little speech too. Ooh, she gonna be a missionary. No, ma'am. No, sir. That's not my calling. No. I'm doing good at just being Lillian.
And that's how we're called to be. It's who we are.
Yeah. I didn't hear that.
And I think in the beginning, for me, one of the things that I was dealing with at a very early age is identity crisis, not knowing who I really, really was authentically, who God created me and called me to be. And not many know that at an early age. That's why I segue into why I started the organization, is because I want young girls at a very early age to identify who they are, who they can be. I want women who never knew who they were to start to embrace that. And so that is why I formed the organization. Actually, not at that moment. It was out of pain that I was going through, but actually, as I have come along, now I know why I had to go through what I went through to get to this point.
Yeah, let's talk about your organization. Tell us the name and then tell us what it's about.
The name of the organization is Harvest Girls International Incorporated. Harvest Girls International Incorporated is a women's empowerment organization designed with you in mind. It's an organization that helps women to, no matter what has happened to them, what they've been through, what they've done, no matter what life looks like, celebrate the journey, because there is a celebration in you. We also empower girls ages 9 through 17 with the power to dream. We also give college scholarships to freshman girls who are entering college, book scholarships, and they can also use those scholarships for tuition. And we also collaborate with other organizations in the community because we feel that we are greater together than separate. And so the organization is designed to empower, equip, and educate women and young girls.
Now, when you said that this program was designed through your pain, what do you mean?
Oh, yes. When I first did the work, cutting through some of the rough spots, I went through a divorce, a very emotionally abusive divorce, I would say. When I say that, I mean, my emotions were just, I would want to say almost butchered. And at that time, I was blaming my former husband for everything. I was like, he did this, he did that, he did that. And yeah, he did do a lot of stuff. But the one thing that I would say that about marriage, a broken woman and a broken man equals a broken marriage.
Yes.
And so if you go in broken, and he's broken and you're broken, and if there's no resolve, there's no fixing, no one's reaching out, no one's doing the work, there's no leadership there to amend some of that brokenness, the marriage possibility likely will fail. And that's what happened. There was a lot of brokenness in me and him. But my thing was, when the pain came, it was the rejection, because this is how I say it's important when you're a child. The rejection that I received at a very early, I thought it was the rejection from the marriage, but that was just the kind of like the icing on the cake. The big thing was that I was rejected as a little girl trying to fit in. So I'm carrying this rejection around all the time, but I'm thinking, this just happened to me since I've been married, and my marriage is ending, and I feel so rejected. No, I was feeling rejected at 5 years old. And I just didn't realize that. But when I went to do the work, and when I say do the work, I went to counseling, I went to therapy. I went to take life coach classes, certified life coach, not for other people, but for myself. And I wanted to dig deep into the core of my soul to find out what made me tick. Who did God make? I mean, I would cry out to God, want to know, Lord, it's got to be something better than this. I know you better than this. I've known you for years. I know there's something better than this. This can't be all there is. And so with that, doing the work, not just sitting there waiting on the manifestation to fall on me,
Right.
Some people say, well, I prayed and did nothing happen, because a lot of times you haven't done anything. Not that if God wanted to, of course, transformation, that's his thing. He can make it happen right now.
Faith without works is dead.
It's dead. And so, but will God give you courage or the opportunity to be courageous? That's what I like to say. There are opportunities God gives us to make choices, because this is the steps. These are the paths that we have to take. This is the journey. And so as I started to take the path to the journey and on the journey, and I started to heal myself, and I wanted other people to be healed, I said, Lord, what can I do? And I was in the kitchen cooking, and I just had this overwhelming experience, weeping and crying, but feeling and knowing all the time that it was time for me to do something. I was being called at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared, but I was willing. I did not know what it was going to look like. And God just kind of spoke to my spirit and said, create it. You have the power. Create it. We don't know what everything looks like, but I am is the greatest 2 words of being that God has ever spoken.
Yes.
And so when we say, I am positive, I am wonderful, I am awesome, you are becoming, and you're giving your soul a chance to embrace the awesomeness in you that was born in you, that God has given you. Mm-hmm. So that you can work out of that. And what we do, we cover it up so many times with bad choices, with running from the reality of what our life really is and how we can turn it around. And many times we're too afraid, or we don't know how, so we don't address it. And so I wanted to bring it to the forefront, telling my stories. And I believe stories will heal. And stories will open hearts and open minds. And I believe, because I believe they are won by the word of our testimonies.
Yeah.
And so when I tell my stories, as candid as they may be sometimes, there's always somebody in that room that says, I needed to hear that. No one has spoken that candid. And so I don't say you have to tell everything, but you can tell without telling. you can tell what you can stand to give them and what they can stand to hear. Because some things I can't stand to tell it and you can't stand to hear it.
Ain't that it?
And so with that being said, but you work through it, and and I always tell people, you're always being transformed daily if you're doing the work.
Yes.
And as a facilitator, as a life coach, and as a founder, president of an organization, I am transformed daily because I continue to do the work. I just don't stop because I feel like I'm here. I have arrived. I do the work so that I can continue to share the work with those who come under my platform.
Amen. We got a question on the board. Does your childhood rejection help you reach Generation Z?
Absolutely. I didn't think that. I'm 62. So I'm saying.
Who is?
I'm sorry.
Who is? You're 62?
Yes. And I'm saying.
Okay.
And I'm saying when the generations they're getting more progressive as time goes on. And so I didn't think, I said, well, I got to get some young girls, and that does help. But I said, they're going to look at me and say, Miss Cris, you don't understand, you're too old. But if I tell my stories to the babies, if I tell my stories to the ladies, it transcends generations. So yes, I had to answer the question, because the girls now are receiving so much rejection and pressure, peer pressure, to do things that they would not naturally do or normally do, or in the core of their soul to do, just to fit in. I know what that feels like. Mm-hmm. And I did not escape without some transgressions. So yes, I can reach other generations.
And what I noticed is, with that generation, the more honest you are with them.
That's right.
And the more real you keep it with them.
That's it.
The more they appreciate it.
Yes.
And if you don't sugarcoat it, just keep it just plain.
Yes. As they say, keeping it 100.
And keep it 100.
Yeah.
And not even 100, 100.
Yeah, 100. I gotta learn how to get that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 100. You just give 100. And just, here's the thing. And don't be so extra, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Just talk plain.
Let me tell you, these kids will read you down when they know you are not. They know you're not.
When you phony,
they will read you down. They will not. They will turn their back. I had a little girl, and she wanted to talk about some things. And until I got real with her, she wouldn't talk to me. She turned her back on me. Mm-hmm. And then when I started revealing to her some of the things that got real with her, she turned around and she started, really?
Yes.
And then we had the conversation. But it wasn't until I got real, she would not have that conversation with me.
Yes, absolutely. I love you too, Dr. Valerie. That's why I love you, because you keep it 100. I mean, this generation, they're not like how we grew up.
Right.
If an older person said something that we didn't agree with, we just didn't say anything.
That's right.
But this generation, they're not going to keep their mouth closed.
That's right.
They're going to speak their piece. It's respectful, mm-hmm. but they will let you know that you're full of it.
Absolutely.
In a respectful way.
When she turned her back on me and folded her arms,
mm-hmm.
she was saying, Miss Cris, you full of it. And then Miss Cris said, wait a minute, maybe I need to just come on with it. And when I did.
Right. Then she turned back around.
Yes. Totally transformed the conversation.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, Mr. D, how you doing? Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. I'm glad you stopped by for a quick second. But you also have a book that you wrote.
I did.
You got to tell us about the book. It's a must-have, by the way. So tell us about your book. Yes.
The Female Leader.
Yes.
It is a international release. It was written few years back, but it's still prevalent today. It still is applied today. I co-wrote the book with some other ladies, and it's about, you would think it's just about leadership, because when you hear female leaders, it's about compassion and empowerment, and it is about your journey as a leader, because everybody, you just don't wake up and you're a leader. How did you get there? What did you go through? And then we also not only talk about that in the book, there are worksheets in there, there are journals in the book, and it will help you to transform your life. And when we talk about leader, we're not talking about in a job or just in a corporation. We're talking about self-leadership over your own life. That's what I'm talking about. My first, my first line in the book, when I was first starting the first page, my first line, and I didn't really, I said, well, how do I start? And then I just said, Cris, just be real, just do you. And my first line was, I thought I was going to die. Exclamation mark. That was my first line in the book. And
talking about grabbing people's attention. Okay.
Yeah, and then you're talking about leadership, and yet you're talking about thinking you're going to die. How does that go together?
Right.
And then I start to tell the story of what we've just been talking about here. You know, on the way to leadership, didn't even try to be a leader. It was already in me. I just had to discover it. Everything I needed was there inside of me, but I did not know what that was. But I had to do the work to self-discover. And that's one thing about leadership, self-leadership. Before I was a manager in a Fortune 500 company for many, many years. I went from the floor up to management, and wasn't looking to go there. They just said, we see you, and we don't have a position open, but we'll create one for you because we want you to be be a manager. And I was like, that's what's going on here.
Well, suspect, huh?
Yes. I'm like, what are they doing? But what it did, it set me up for the next journey and the next level of my life. And that is how I can walk in the leadership that I'm in today, because at first you have to accept the calling of it. First, I tried to run from it. No, I'm not a leader. No, I'm not that. I'm not this. And then I said, but if I'm not that, who am I? So my first thing on my journey was discover who you really are. And I didn't want to be a crybaby, and I didn't want to whine and complain and stand in my story. And so instead of standing in my story, I said, I'm going to stand on my story. So when I stand in my story, I'm the victim. But when I stand on my story, I'm victorious. And everything can be used. Nothing is wasted. Everything in your life that has happened to you can be used.
Amen. Absolutely. Now, who was your biggest influence on you today? Who has been your biggest influence today?
Do I have to do one person?
No.
Ooh, okay.
You can give me a list.
So my number one is my parents, of course. I love them. My dad has passed, but my mom is still here. And my parents, they just amazing. But then outside of the family, because I kind of want to just take this outside, but I had to say that in case my mom looks at this and says,
yeah, you didn't mention me.
No, yes, Mom.
But here's peach cobbler for you.
I have my Bishop T. Garrett Benjamin Jr., Light of the World Christian Church. He was pastor for 46 years. Biggest influence in my life. The second person is Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor. I used to just watch her. And it's something about her that she could pull stuff out of you or out of me, just with her speaking and the way. And so now we are good friends. And she's a very, very influential person in my life. And so those are the two people. But I have some girls. I have some OGs. I call them original girls. Mm-hmm. That's been with me for a long time that I'll leave nameless, but because that's how we roll. We roll underground like that.
Oh, this is your underground crew.
That's my underground crew. Yeah. And so, but I use them like when I'm like, look, I need to talk to my girl, and they're like, I got you. So I have some. Everybody needs some OGs. Everybody needs some original girls. That's 100, as you say.
Okay.
To be with you, and so but those two. I would say those two people, major influences.
Yeah, if you ain't got nobody that you can call and don't ask no questions.
That's my OGs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need somebody that you call. At least two.
They won't ask me any. I only have two of them.
That's what I said. You only need two.
Yeah, I got two.
You need two good friends that you can call them, won't ask no questions, and just be like, girl, or guy, no matter or dude, and be like, I'm on my way, and hang up and don't say nothing else.
Absolutely, yes.
You gotta have them. So if you ain't got them, then you need to reevaluate your circle.
Reevaluate, yes. Everybody needs somebody. I used to do it alone. Let me be honest. I would hold everything in, and this is the next step of doing the work. I used to hold everything in, and I would hold things in till it was unbearable, and then when I would lose it, it would be no turning back, kind of losing it. Just holding it in, and then that's it. But there was a time that when I was going through my divorce, and I was very, very, very emotional and very, very angry. I was diagnosed as being homicidal. And I couldn't believe the doctor was saying that to me. Homicidal? And he said, well, do you want to hurt yourself? Are you suicidal? I was like, no, I don't want to hurt myself. I said, but
I want to hurt you now.
Yeah, I could hurt somebody. I felt like I could hurt somebody. I was angry, but I never wanted myself. And he did. They said that I was homicidal, and I thought it took me a long time. But here's the thing. Let me talk about this part. Here's the thing. Trying to become a title that somebody's putting on you just because they said you were, and you received it, and then I tried to wear it. Girl, did you know I'm homicidal? Girl, I'm homicidal. So I had to wake up and say, I was trying to say, I'm a single mother. I'm a divorcee. I'm homicidal. I'm trying to be all of these titles that
good and bad.
And what I had to find out, Lillian, is these are things that have happened to you, but it's not who you are. It's what has happened to you. There's a difference in what has happened to you and who you really are. And so when I learned that was two different things, those were experiences, and that was history that I could use to build the future, because everything can be used. And so I started to work through the process, because you cannot heal what you don't reveal to yourself.
Come on, sis.
If you cannot reveal to yourself, you cannot heal it if you don't reveal it.
Stop lying to yourself.
Stop lying to yourself. Yeah.
Come on, sis. Girl, you better be glad you ain't in my face and I ain't got a church fan. I'll throw it at you right now. Wow. That's some real talk. You just kept it 100 with me real quick.
I had to.
Wow.
It's part of who I am now. And there's some ladies, and they'll say, well, Cris, you just tell too much. You just tell. No, that's my mission, honey. I didn't go through all that stuff to be quiet and act like and walk around like ain't nothing ever happened to me. And I see a sister over here hurting, and I have walked in her shoes, and I can support her and help possibly bring her out, and I act like ain't nothing happened to me because I don't want to be real with myself.
Right.
I love this life I live. I love it.
Amen.
I'm telling you, it's to be who you are and to have freedom in it. And when you are set free from the opinions of others, you talking about freedom, This is
Yes.
better than money. Let me tell you, money cannot buy this.
Yes.
I wanted my freedom in myself so bad, I was willing to leave my job. I was willing to leave a 6-figure job because I wanted my freedom. I wanted out of this in here. I wanted this to come out, and I couldn't find. And I said, if it means I gotta walk away and go on some kind of journey, that's what I'm gonna do. And basically, I kind of did, because I did take an early retirement. And
congratulations!
Yeah, I've been retired for a long time now, though. But
still, congratulations!
Yeah, thank you. but it's just the fact that I had to. I wanted this. This is what my prayer was. I'd rather die knowing than to live and never know what God has called me to do.
Wow,
that was my prayer.
Wow,
that's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad that caught that thing. And let me tell you something. That thing, that purpose in you, when you start to poke at it and you start to ask for it and you start to pray for it and you start to believe in it, that thing will call you to the day you die if you don't perform it. You will wake up in the middle of the night and you will not be able to sleep. It will shake you. It will call your name. You can't run from it. It's going to be there until you answer that call.
Girl,
this purpose is waiting to come forth, because the people that you are to touch, the lives that you are to touch with that purpose that God has put in you, those people are waiting on you. And so that thing is calling your name. And not only is it delivering other people, but it's going to set you totally free to walk in that calling, in that purpose. And I used to think there was only 2 things I could do in the church, was sing or maybe be an evangelist. And I thought that was it. But when I found out I was not called to the church that way. Ministry's in me. I take it everywhere I go. Ministry is here in me. You can't throw it away. You can't shake it, toss it. It's in me. It's going to come out. Whether I speak his name or not, it's going to come out. Because it's there. I have done speeches, and they said, well, we don't want you to say anything about, because of the different faces of people. And I was like, okay, I got you. Girl, I get up there and I get to talking and get to whatever's in my heart and spirit and what's on that paper. And I can't help the way that it comes out. And I have not said one word about the church, God, Jesus, or anything. And people come up, girl, what church you go to?
Because that light is shining through. You can't help it.
Yeah, it's coming.
You can't help it.
Yeah,
you can't help it.
The anointing at all.
Yes. My God, girl. Yeah, you're going to have me flip this light ring over and everything.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. I want to give a shout out to, I'm going to call you Bishop, Bishop Clinton from Nehemiah, and my sister Dina. I'm so glad y'all joined. I ain't seen you in a long time, Bishop. So I'm glad to see you on here, sir. Girl, you got the talking? Yeah, I felt that thing. You better stop. Some of this stuff I got set up ain't real stable. Better knock my camera over.
I know,
girl. I already got a track holding on by a bobby pin.
Yeah, and
you better go ahead.
I got to a place in my life, Lillian, where I thought I could smooth things over with things, because I had the money to buy stuff. So I don't need another person in my life ever.
Yes.
Shoes, don't need another pair of shoes. You try to, and I woke up one day because this thing had just been calling me, and it just had been racking me and pulling at me, and I'm just crying. I don't know why I'm crying, but it just was calling me and pulling me. It was just internally trying to come out. And I remember I woke up one morning and I said, I don't need another purse. I don't need another pair of shoes. I don't need anything else. I need to find this thing that's trying to get out of me. I need to find out what this is and get this out. And I'm telling you, I took a lot of purses. You don't have to do this, but I did this for me. And I ended up, I cried later, but at that moment, the anointing was on me. And I picked up a lot of purses and gave it to the Goodwill. Of course, they probably didn't make it to the floor, but that's okay. And I remember, after the fact, I'm looking for this one particular brand purse.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there no more, and I was like, "Dang, that's the one you gave to the Goodwill." What that day I must have really been laboring because I really like, oh my goodness. But you get to a point where it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. What matters is who you are really. And I had to ask myself one day, when did you stop loving yourself? Or did you ever? Because sometimes we think we love ourselves because we do great things for ourselves and we look good and we get nails and feet and hair done and all that. And we think that's love. And if you're not filling your cup.
That's a covering. That's a cover up.
It's a cover. And if you're not filling your cup and pouring from the saucer, then you're just an empty vessel. Because if you're saying, well, I love people because I do this for people and I do that for people, and you are empty, you have to love yourself first. You have to. Because if you love yourself first, then you have the adequacy to love everyone else the way that they deserve to be loved.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Hey, Dina, how you doing? That's my sister in Christ. Girl, you dropping some gems on tonight. My God. My God. I wasn't ready for you today.
You know what? I didn't know what you was going to ask me. I didn't know what I was going to say. And the best thing that I do when is just be honest. Mm-hmm. And that's the best that I can be is to be 100 or 100. You got to say
100. 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of got to hold the tongue.
I got to hold
your mouth. 100.
Yeah, that's that speech.
That's that ebonics.
Yeah.
See, that's because you're a public speaker and you have great grammar. I'm not a public speaker and I have terrible grammar, so that's why it works for me.
Well, I tell you what.
You know what, Lord, I take that back. I have learned that things that I say negative have become a reality. I said like a few weeks ago that I'm a stutterer. And as soon as I said that, I start stuttering really bad.
Yes.
I mean, nonstop. And, and I told my husband, I was like, I had to rebuke that thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I am not a stutterer. And as soon as I said I am not a stutterer, I stopped stuttering.
Yeah, because we are the words, the power.
I know, life and death.
Yeah.
And so and then I stopped stuttering, and then all of a sudden I started pausing. Like I would start talking to someone, and then I would start pausing in between words like that. And I'm like, Lord, what in the world is that? I was like, oh, that's got to stop too. I said, because this is freaking me out. So I was like, I can't do that. So I started praying on it. And this just happened last night. And I was talking to my husband about it. He said, won't you stop praying about it and just believe it? I said, oh, you told me. He said, no, I didn't tell you, the Lord did. I said, oh, well, let me shut up then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you just have to be.
Yeah.
Be.
Yeah, so that's why I'm retracting my statement of saying I have bad grammar. I'm retracting that statement. Absolutely. I just know how to say 100.
Absolutely.
So I will teach you how to speak Ebonics to talk to Generation Z. And what age group is that anyway? Generation Z?
I don't know. I know that our program for girls is ages 9 through 17, and then our women's program is 18 and up. And so it's somewhere in there. It's in there. They're all in there. Because it's so amazing.
Because what age group am I? Because I'm 49. So what am I? Am I Generation X?
You may be. You may be. I know I'm a
Okay.
baby boomer. So
Okay. Another reason why I'm fine with Generation X since I like X-Men and all that good stuff like that, Marvel. So I'm fine with that. So what would you love to be more accomplished of? What would you love to do more of?
oh, I would like to speak more. I love speaking. I love
Mm-hmm.
empowering and facilitating. I love it. I would love to do more of that. Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Dr. Valerie. She said it's
Like the 17. Okay, so I'm right in the pocket. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
we're right there. Okay.
Oh, and I am right.
You're
I'm
X.
Generation
Okay,
X. All
you're X.
right. All right. I'll take it. Okay. All right. I'll take it. All right. Yeah, Dina, don't judge me. I'm just saying. I'll be Generation X. Okay. Now, what would you say to a young woman who's just feeling hopeless right now? Who just feels she just don't know what to do?
Well, hopelessness is a state of mind. We it's easy to say that when you're feeling that way, but I have felt hopeless. I've had everything that I needed and felt hopeless. A lot of people equate people who are less fortunate with hopelessness, and that is not always the case. So I have several ladies and women, young girls as well, that have felt just hopeless. The biggest thing that I would like to say to them is it's an identity. Most times it's an identity crisis. Because when people say, well, I know who I am, I'm this person, I'm that person. And I'm talking about deeper than that. I'm talking about going into the core of your soul and talking about your purpose and your thing. But when you're hopeless, you don't feel like you want to hear about any of that stuff. The thing that I would want to say is that life is not over. It's not over. You can every setback is a setup for a comeback. You can come through this thing. You can make it. You were born for a purpose. Your life is not put on pause because of what you're feeling now, what you're going through. This too shall pass because you were born and built for greatness. We don't know it at the time because we feel so hopeless. But we want to support the women who say that, I feel hopeless, but if I can find somebody that can give me a rope, and that's what I'm here for. I want to be the rope. I want to pull you up. I want to help you. I want to talk to you. Not only want to talk to you, but I want to support you. I mean, there are things that people need. Like if people are hungry, and I'm going to start talking to them about purpose, they need to be fed.
Yes.
Yeah. So depending on the need of hopelessness. So because hopelessness always there's a need usually there, and so depending on the need, I want to get you help. I want you to know that you are amazing and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. There's nobody else like you on this planet, and because of that, here's the thing. We identify ourselves with other people so many times and what is put before us. And I've always said, stop looking for yourself in other people because you're not there. And the reason you can't identify, the reason why you can't fit in, the reason why it feels like our hope is gone a lot of times is because we just don't identify the greatness and the power that is within. And that is what I want to help women do. That's what I want you to know, that there is hope and there is help and you can turn it around.
Amen. Amen. So what's next for you?
What is next for me?
I know you got a mess. You know what you don't know. You do so much.
Let me tell you why I'm saying I don't know. Okay. Well, let me reframe.
Okay.
What is next for me?
Yes. Yes.
What is next for me? Possibilities.
Oh, come on now.
I feel like all things are possible.
Yes.
And so anything that's opening or anything that is available is a possibility. And so that's what is next for me. All the possibilities that come my way. That's what's next. I love telling our girls and our women that all things are possible, and that you don't have to dilute yourself because someone can't take you at 100 proof.
Come on.
Yes.
Yes.
And so you are a possibility. And so what's next for me is possibilities. All things are possible.
I'm telling you, if you was in front of me, fam, bow. You would get it right there.
I get it. Okay.
You're right. That's good. That's too good.
Thank you, Dr. Valerie. Yay. I appreciate that.
Oh my God. Now, how can people find you?
Well, they can find me mostly on all platforms of social media. Facebook, Cris Meadows, Cris Meadows, just like the spelling on the screen. Facebook, IG, Twitter, and I'm on Clubhouse.
Yeah. You on Clubhouse?
Yes.
Since when?
Yeah. Since the young girls told me I need to be on Clubhouse. So
well, I gotta find you.
I've already had one event and everything. So yeah.
Oh, I gotta find you then.
Yeah, I'm on Clubhouse.
I don't have to find you. So I can follow you and jump into your stage.
Yes.
And see what you're talking about.
Love to have you. Come on in.
Now, can people contact you as well?
Oh, yes, they can. They can contact me through harvestgirls.com and click on Contact Us, and you can get directly to me.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Now, here's your last question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you could have any actress portray you in your lifetime movie, who would it be and why?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to compare somebody that fits the physique part, but this person doesn't. But I would like for this person to play me, and this is a person everybody probably would least think for me, but I feel the passion from her to me, and that is Jennifer Hudson.
Oh yeah, I can see.
She's so much taller than me, so she has so much passion in her, and that's why we want her to play, because she's been through tragedy.
Yes, she has.
She's been through so much, and yet she's still pressing on, and she's still moving, and she's still reaching, and she's still grabbing those possibilities. And that's why we want her to play me.
Yes, absolutely. I can see that.
Yes. Plus, she sings real good too. So
see, yeah, because now I need to hear you sing. Because you talking about they compared you to the next Mahalia Jackson.
That was when I was 5 years old.
Yeah, at 5. Oh, I was like, okay, so she
that was
blow.
5. No.
Now, you still sing you still sing?
No, I don't.
You don't sing at all, besides in the shower or in the
I
car?
don't in the shower, no.
You know?
Yep.
But I can see that. I can see you see, Dr. Valerie too. See, I can see that Jennifer Hudson playing you. And far as like being tall, whatever, how many times you done seen a movie and you're like, they don't look nothing like them?
Well, but I'm just saying, you know how when people want to, because here's how I am in a movie. If somebody's playing someone, I don't expect them to look like them, but I expect them to have the essence of that person.
Yes.
That's what I'm
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can see that. That would be look. I'm like, that would be a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta make that happen. You gotta write your you gotta write your autobiography.
Yes, that's the possibility.
See? Possibility. See? Absolutely. All right, get busy, ma'am.
Yes.
Get the autobiography done so we can send us the transcript to Jennifer. Like, hey, we got a book for you, young lady.
And I am a playwright. I have written play before, so I am a playwright.
Really?
So you're speaking stuff that I'm like, okay, here I go. It's time. It's time to shift. You talking about what's next for Cris? That might be it right there.
See?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to tell you
Yes.
something.
Yes, he is.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for being on here doing a double shift. Like I said, you are a treat. You are a joy. You are a gem. Like I said, I was not ready for you. You dropped so much on me on today, and I think you blessed everybody
Oh, I
on
pray that
tonight.
I did. I pray
Oh,
that
I
I
know you
did.
did. I know you did. And I pray that everybody please follow her. Please sow a seed onto her amazing, amazing, amazing organization, Harvest Girls International. You can go, just Google it, you'll find it.
Yep.
Sow a seed. Do you have a Cash App on there or anything like that?
Yes, if you just click donate, it'll tell you the ways you can pay. Yeah.
Okay,
Just go,
awesome.
if you
Please,
go to harvestgirls.com, click donate, open right up. Yes.
bless these girls because, like she said, that they are paying scholarships for these girls on there. And did we go in deep into that, or we just kind
I
of
touched
touched
on it.
on it?
Yes, I did touch on it. Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a great organization. Bless these young girls. Bless and sow a seed to her. So she can go, when this COVID thing dies down, she can go on a cruise.
I have done a facilitation on a cruise. I've done workshops on cruises. I do workshops everywhere. I told you, I love speaking. Yes.
But we want you to go on a cruise for fun,
For
not for
fun.
work.
Yes, for
We
sure.
want you to, we want you to, go to Hawaii.
For sure.
All right. Thank you again. I'm going to let you go, and you have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Lillian. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope that she touched your soul just as much as she touched mine. This has been a wonderful, wonderful show. And as always, I want to thank everybody for joining. I want to thank you for watching the show. Make sure you tune in next week for another episode. Thank you, Dina, for watching. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. I want all of you to make sure you join in next week for another episode of Worldly Church Girl. And as always, thanks for joining your one and only Worldly Church Girl.